You know I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in entertainment, media, sports, and entrepreneurship. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calabrese. And Joe, we are very excited about our guest today. Things are about to get very real with the reality star we have joining us right now, Joe.
Yeah, as Big Brother super fans, it seems like we've had a lot of former guests, house guests on the show with us recently. We have another one on with us today, which is really, really nice. She's a relationship coach, and according to her Instagram bio, a mystical woman with a fun soul and a human body. So that's going to be fun to talk about, but we're very, very happy to have her on. You can hear her laughing in the background already. That's already a good sign. Indy Santos. Indy, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much. I'm great. How are you?
We're doing well, Indy. And since you are a relationship coach, Joe knows where I'm going with this. How can we get my buddy Joe here a relationship? I'm a happily married man. We need Joe to get a relationship. What is he doing wrong, Indy?
I don't really know. We need to talk so I can find out. It's not about having a relationship. It's about having a good relationship with yourself. So
Right.
mostly,
You can't love somebody else if you don't know how to love yourself first.
Yeah.
And that's
yes,
how you attract
exactly.
the right love. Yeah, I know all that stuff, right?
Yes, good. So are you working on it?
It's a work in progress, a continued work in progress. I'm always, what's like the Matthew McConaughey speech at the Oscars? Like, I'm always looking to become a better version of myself, right? Because I'm always chasing something, right? Yeah, something like that. There you go. But
Yeah,
we'll
if
we'll,
we
we'll
are
talk
doing the
after.
work, we always have to do the work. The thing is, like, everyone says, like, oh, I'm doing it, I'm working on it. You are not. So the first thing that pops up that you don't like about yourself, you hide it. You don't deal with it. You put under the mask, and that's not how things work. So if you're working on yourself and you're being the best version of yourself, and you're gonna attract whatever you are. So
Yeah, Joe, if you're not about that namaste, keep them away,
not really. We all need people.
So now we can finally start. You're from Brazil, one of my favorite countries. I've never been there before, but I have extended family that is from there. How was it like growing up in Brazil?
It's amazing. I'm going home like in 20 days. I was counting down the days right now, and I was like, it's amazing. Growing up in Brazil, it's a beautiful country. And even if I was born in a poor situation, in a community, raised in a community, I still had like a lot of fun, and I love my country.
So you are from Brazil, so I don't make the assumption here, but how excited are you about the World Cup? Soccer. You're going to be
I am super excited. I'm super excited. I'm just not that excited because I missed like all the tickets to go to Qatar because I really want to go. But I'm really happy that I saw the Brazilian team, the names. I'm still not sure about them.
Well, they're one of the favorites, right? France is a favorite again. Brazil's a favorite again. I think they have a great shot. I think they're one of
Brazil always going to be the favorite. They always say we're the favorite. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want us to win. It's not like being the favorite. It's just so much that we can do.
I say 4 years from now, when it's in the United States of America, when USA plays Brazil, you and Joe go to the game, big rivalry, yelling at each other. That would be some good video content right there.
The United States never have a prayer to win these events. The team is not good enough because our best athletes, they don't play soccer or football, right? Football where you're from. It's not football here. We have a different kind of football.
I know.
But yeah, our best athletes don't play soccer.
I know. Unfortunately. But
Indy,
it's okay. You can improve in 4 years. We still have 4 years.
Right. Plenty of time. Indy, when did you make the move to America, and how nervous were you when you did that?
It was about 10 years ago, 9.5 years. I was not nervous. I think like every single step that I do in my life in general, it's pretty much like I'm scared, but I'm gonna do anyways because only I can do that for myself. So it was pretty much that. Like I shut down all the scary and my doubts and like all my questions. I'm like, you know what? Just go for it. Same thing with Big Brother. I was like, I was scared. I was afraid. I need to quit my job. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I'm like, whatever, it's gonna work out and just go for it. It's like I become super rational when I have to make decisions like that in my life. So it was scary, but at the same time, like, well, it depends on me if it's gonna work or not. Doesn't depend on other people, so it's easier for me to deal with things when it's on me.
Yeah, so certainly so far it's working out for you from what we could see. What I'm seeing right now as we're watching the video version here is behind you is a keyboard. So I'm wondering, do you play the keyboard at all? Is it just a accessory to your room? Are you musically inclined?
Oh, Dad.
Yes.
I do play, but I'm really bad at it.
Okay.
And like I wish it like I need to put more time to take my lessons, but it's a work in progress. So
my wife loves playing the keyboard. She's not very much trained, but she watches like the YouTube videos. It tells you when to press.
That's what I do.
It's fun. It's definitely fun. Something else that is certainly fun has got to be being a private jet flight attendant. That sounded pretty cool when I heard about that. How did you get into that field?
I used to work for as a nanny for a billionaire. And when I quit my job, I was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I was all over the place. And one of his friends, like my previous boss friend, she reached out to me and she was like, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. And we became friends. And then she was like, okay, why don't you do this? And she kind of led me like to the way. She put me like she was like, oh, do this class, you need to do this training, and I'm gonna get you a job. So I went to the training and she got me a job, and my boss loved me. So I had so much fun on it. And like, I kind of miss flying. I don't want to go back, but it's like, I took a flight to Las Vegas last weekend, and it was like freaking, what was it? Maybe JetBlue or Spirit, like something really bad. And even that, I was like, oh my gosh, I miss flying. But, I don't know if I'm going back. So I don't think so.
Nick and I were in Vegas last month.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Little business
Vegas
trip.
is a lot.
a little business trip. It was our first time out in Las Vegas. We were there for
It's
a nice
a
long
lot.
weekend. How do you like it?
I love Vegas, but it's a lot because they have like no limits. So even if I'm tired or like, I'm like, oh, I should rest. I'm like, on.
The first full day that I spent in Las Vegas, I was up 24 straight hours. I did it properly. That's how you got to
did
do it,
proper.
right?
Yep. That's how we do it.
So what was funny, Indy, is I went there. I was with my wife. She was there for work. I joined her, and then Joe, he's gonna come because we filmed some content out there, and he came with our logistics associate Nino. Nino, they flew in different days, so Nino got to the hotel first, and he checked in, whatever. Joe was supposed to meet Nino at the hotel, and he ended up not. And Nino got very worried. We thought Joe got lost. We thought he got arrested or something, or
he was just having fun.
He was just having a lot of fun.
So Joe, tell him what happened at 3:30 a.m. And tell Indy where you ended up, what ended up happening.
So I originally booked a Hilton hotel because I came in Wednesday night. Nick, his wife, and our friend, they arrived the next day. So there was a text exchange between me and our other friend, and I totally forgot that he wasn't staying at the hotel that I was at, that we were originally both going to be planning to stay at. And I went back to the original hotel, and I was like fumbling through calling all the rest of the Hilton Grand Club hotels on the Strip. I was calling, do you have somebody by this name staying here? So finally, it was like 3:30 in the morning. There was no room available. I had to walk across the street to the West Gate because like that's at the really, really north end of the Strip. And I had to find a room on short notice. and I slept 3 hours. And then my cousin called me at 7:30 in the morning asking where I was. He woke me up. I couldn't go back to sleep. I slept like 3 hours in the first 2.5 days.
And then you went to the buffet for breakfast.
And you went to the buffet, and I looked presentable, right? Like
You
I
looked like you had a night.
out drinking, walking the strip, had a great time.
Oh my gosh, Vegas does that to people. But
Amazing.
don't tell anyone else this story. Whatever happens to Vegas stays there.
Oh, this is the exception. Nick loves Nick loves embarrassing me on this podcast. He loves it. He can't get enough of it.
Well, Joe, we're trying to humanize you so that when eventually you go on Big Brother, that everyone knows about you. You're funny. You get lost and stuff. We'll see. Yeah, it'll work out. Indy, what was your audition process like for Big Brother? And how long did it take you with the application stuff? Did you apply like specifically for the US version? Were you open to going on the Brazilian version? How did it all work out for you?
So I applied, I believe that was February or March. I applied for both, for the Brazilian version, the US version. And I don't know, suddenly they open up like at the same time. And my audition, like the process was so long, it was exhausting. Guys, it's so many interviews and so many like things, and being a flight attendant and dealing with the interviews, you have like to have the same setup and the same clothes and the same hair. And I'm like, I'm in a freaking hotel in Michigan. I don't have the same background. Like, anyway, I'm like, guys, I don't have the same background, like literally, unless you want like a white wall, not even, because I always say Marriott and they don't have white walls. And anyways, it was really hard, but it worked out. So like, and I'm open to go to the Brazilian version for sure. That's my biggest dream. So I was like, I'm gonna apply for both. Whatever happens. But of course, my biggest goal is to go on the Brazilian version. It's something that the American version cannot understand. It's huge. It was fun and it was amazing. But the Brazilian version, sweetheart, is the best thing on earth. They're like, oh, Indy, you were like so close to Joseph and Taylor because they're poppy. I'm like, I don't give a fuck for their, 300,000 followers. Once I step on the Brazilian version, honey, I get like 4 million like this. So it's like people have no idea, like even yesterday I was hanging out with my friends and I met one of the Brazilian singers. I was like, oh, I didn't follow you. She took a picture with me and I went to follow her. She's like 28 million freaking followers. And I'm like, do you really think I'm like friends up like with Joseph because of his following?
No.
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 So, Indy, do you think when you go on the Brazil version that you would have a leg up on everybody else because you already played the game before?
I will have what? Sorry.
Like an advantage in the game because you already played
probably
once?
the advantage of being able to be locked and have like, I was out of like the outside world for 100 days. So I think that advantage. But everything else, the game's so different. And I will be able to be more myself and speak up what I want and what I believe and my truth. And, it will be totally different. So I think the only advantage that I'm going to have is like know that like maybe how to read people better and being able to not like really struggle on the lockdown and like, being in the house for 100 days and plus or whatever. But I think that's the only advantage. Everything else will be like, I will have the advantage because I am amazing as I am. So people going to be able to see that finally, because in the fucking Big Brother house, I was like trying to hold on my personality because I'm a lot. And I was like, if I be myself 100% here, they're going to kick me out in 2 days.
I disagree. We don't think you're a lie. We think you're just the right amount.
I would be Pooch. No, but they will be like, oh God, no, you guys saw nothing. Like nothing. Like I don't take shit from people. And I was trying to hold that like, let's be nice, you know, I need to be patient. And all my friends were like, oh my gosh, we're so proud of you. I'm like, that's not the reality, honey. I was running from $750,000. I'm still me. Don't take like that for granted, you know.
Nick, looks like we're gonna have to watch Big Brother Brazil when she's on.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have to follow up with her.
Please, we're gonna have so much fun. Then it's gonna be fun.
Gonna have to learn my Portuguese.
Yes, I know. Oh God, it's hard.
I have a
But
question.
we're gonna find a way.
Wait, I have a question about the accent.
Yes.
How long did it take you to learn English as your second language? Because I assume
I do not really know how long it took me to be able to have a conversation, but when I came here like 9 years and a half ago, whatever, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't ask for water. I had to write on post-its, like to give to the driver, like I need to stop on this, you know, like on this street. So it was pretty hard. But yeah, I know the accent, and I'm like, every single person, I'm like, oh, I love your accent. I'm like, yes. And then I started speaking Portuguese. And I'm like, oh, you don't have an accent in my language because you have no idea what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm like, stop mentioning my freaking accent.
Indy, how would you have done on the punishment where you had to speak in a British accent or a New York accent?
Oh my gosh. No, they didn't force me to do that. It was a lot. But that was just like the singing and that punishment was crazy. It was hard.
it's very easy to learn New York. Can you say coffee?
No, I'm not saying it.
Once you say coffee and you figure out how to say it, that's it. That's the only word you got to know.
No, it was hard even for Joseph. Joseph was like struggling. Think about for me.
Anyway, all right. So your reaction to being casted on Big Brother, because when you find out you're going to be on the show, they gave you this very, very small window of time, and it's very hectic. So what was it like learning you were going to be on the show? Who did you tell? And did you go like last minute shopping to get things last minute to get when you were to shop for clothes for the house?
We don't really have the time. It's pretty much like they come over, they give you the key, they take your phone, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no time. I prepare myself because I'm organized enough. Like, so I had my vitamins separate. I had like my luggage ready to go, but I didn't know. I wasn't sure. So I asked my manager was with me. So I asked her to email my boss because I still didn't quit because I was still like holding on. I wasn't sure. So I was like, I'm not quitting like before.
Right.
And then I was like, she was with me recording the things, and then she got like notes, like I have to call this person, I have to do this and this and that. So that's how pretty much it worked. And I called my parents because my parents didn't know that I was going.
So what happened? Right? I heard that they confiscated all your bathing suits or something.
That was the most like ridiculous part of Big Brother. Anyways, like I was so mad. And it's like, it's my favorite thing ever. So I had literally 23 pieces of bathing suits with me. And then they got all of that. And they left me. They sent me another one that was smaller than mine. I was like, what the fuck? And then like they gave me like 2 one pieces, and it was horrible from Amazon. And I hate it. I was like, no.
Oh, what a shame. So you couldn't even really, not that you really go to the pool that often, but you couldn't even take advantage because you didn't have
No, it was so hard. And it was like, and like I know that happened to a lot of the girls as well, but like, come on, I had 23. Like it's the only thing that I'm like, I didn't even have like sweaters. I had bathing suit. That's my thing. It's like I'm going to a freaking summer house. And I'm like, not really. Surprise.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Yes, it was hard. I was so mad.
Indy, how bad of a roommate was Joseph Abdin?
Oh my gosh. You guys kidding me? It was the worst time like of my sleep ever in my life. He's horrible, guys. He's horrible. I was always like, baby, just get your shit together. Let's clean your bed. Let's leave everything ready. So whenever you want to come over, you just walk through it. No.
How did you feel about the night that he slept on his wet sheets because he didn't want
I
to
didn't
wake you
care
up? Didn't care.
because I warned him. I
Right.
warned him. I was like, baby, let's make your bed because I'm gonna fall asleep and you're gonna
Yeah.
come late night, blah 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 blah. It was like, oh my gosh, it was so funny.
How do you think you would have fared rooming with DJ Showtime, Terrence, who we heard is
I
a
would
big snorer?
no, let's not talk about that.
Too
Let's
much snoring, huh?
Every single time that everyone was asking me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just hope like whatever you guys wanna do it, just don't put me in the same room. That's it. You do whatever.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How did you feel about Pooch flirting with you?
I liked Pooch a lot, but then it was like he became like super annoying, and then he drove me crazy for a little bit. But now we're back to be friends. So it's not super close friends actually. Like right now, the closest that I have is Joseph, Taylor, Jasmine, and Michael. It's pretty much the closest people that I have, like that people that call me, and Turner as well, that call me and text me, you know, like, how are you? Are you okay? You know? But yeah, it's everyone else. Like I try to have like a good relationship with people that deserve my attention and still deserve my energy. So yeah.
You got to be very protective of your energy. And as a
Always.
Joe, yeah, as a Joe, I got to be on my best behavior now because it doesn't seem like you like Joe's too much.
I do.
Just kidding. So what was your favorite part and your least favorite part about being on the show?
My favorite part, it's like I was able to share a little bit of my country and how it is to be an immigrant in this country, you know. And I think I opened like a space, like a door for other immigrants that wish to be on the show, that always feel concerned about their accent or their, you know, their cultural, and like there are a lot of things that I know that a lot of people feel insecure about it. And I hope that I inspired people to apply and to try. And especially nowadays that the minorities have, like, Audi Network has to have half of their cast as minorities. So I think it was a good moment. That was my favorite part and the greatest part for me. That's like my cause is way bigger than being just like winning Big Brother. That's important, but it's bigger than that. And the worst part was to be also like the opposite of that, not being well like treated because of my country, my accent, and you know, like being an immigrant. Yeah.
What was the worst thing physically about the house? Was it the lights? Was it the lack of bathrooms? What bothered you the most?
I believe like the lighting was really bad, and I don't know, not having like we had a lot of food and proper food, but I do like try to be healthy and eat more organic, and I have like my water that it's alkaline, you know, like all those little things. Like you cut, like, yes, everyone say like, Indy, you came from a really poor place. I'm like, yes, and I got out of that. So
Right.
And now I want to better for myself, for my health. So I think the hardest part for me was like adapting, like people shopping for me, and like the lighting as well, and like not having like my proper water. Me and Jasmine, we were always suffering for that. And like yeah.
So what we heard in another interview we did was that there's only one clock in the house, which was the oven, and you erased the time at one point.
I
by
did.
accident. How did your roommates react to that?
Accident.
I did erase the time at one point. I put the house on fire. And I set the house on fire. What else did I do? I did a bunch of shit.
How many times did you get in trouble by production when you did stuff like that?
No production. Production was fine with me. I think most of the time they were just getting me in trouble, like when I was like singing. That was the worst. Because I like to sing. And then I was always like singing, even if I make up my own songs. I was making up my freaking songs. They were fighting with me. They're like, Indy, stop singing.
What were you singing?
I had like a bunch of songs. I don't remember. But
Super.
anything. I was always like trying to sing, like, like I create like some songs, me and Joseph, and then it was like, they got us. Yeah.
Were you singing in the showers? The hot and the cold showers? Just the hot.
I don't really mind cold showers. So people like, cold showers. That's not the worst part for me. So I was fine about it.
So what was the worst competition to compete in? And was there any competition that you enjoyed competing in?
Hmm. I like most of the competitions, and I think I would do way better if I was not put against like the big guys, that the freaking huge guys. So I would do better. But I think I really like the wall. Was really fun. That was fun, and I wish like I could like stay longer. I was like dying, but yeah, the wall was fun. But the worst one was pretty much the first one, because they put me against Joseph. I'm like, are you guys freaking kidding me?
Yeah, the wall
I was like, I'm
competition.
not even doing it.
Well, I was going to say the wall competition, it always tends to favor women and people who are smaller because you need like a smaller center of gravity. And when like to keep your balance, it's so much easier. Like if you
Mhm.
notice competitions like that, and even endurance competitions, like the bigger, like more athletic people never win those, and then they never last long either.
Yeah, but Joseph is not that big, and he's strong, and like of course it was Taylor's competition, and she won, and I could see like she was holding up way easier than I was. Like maybe the weight, like I don't know, like I'm still like she's way skinnier than me, but like she was holding up like way better than me. I was looking like there was no clue that I would get this. Like would I think would be like if I could hold it up a little bit more, would be me and her, but like from the perspective of being small and stuff, but yeah, it is what it is.
So, do you feel like if you were on a different season, would you have won?
I feel that I would never win the Brazilian or the American version because of a lot of xenophobic racism and stuff like that. I think since like the setup of this game is this way, the vote is inside, and you can now really be yourself. And people, even if they don't believe they are judgmental, they are judgmental. Even if they suffer racism, they are also racists. So it's a lot of things that like I think it still wouldn't help me during this game, the way that the game plays.
How
And
how was your how was your time in the jury house? Was it better being in that house as opposed to being in the actual house?
I really didn't like it being the jury house just because I felt that I was wasting my time.
Yeah,
That I could be out and getting my life together.
right.
But I knew how important was like to be able to decide who the winner was. But it was pretty hard for me. Like emotionally, it was like pretty much like, you know,
Hmm.
that's why I don't really enjoy the setup of the Big Brother US version, because I don't think like it's fair like to keep like someone locked
No,
in. It's a lot that
I've always said if someone's going to Big Brother, you either want to be the last person to leave before the jury house, or you want to win. You don't want to be in between because you're wasting your time.
exactly. And it's like it's pretty much that feeling that I was like, come on. Like now, thank God, like a week later, they sent like Joseph and Jasmine. I was fine.
All right, you by yourself for a week, right?
Thank God also. Love myself. I
Oh,
love
she
my company.
loves no one, no better company than yourself, right?
No, I love my own
So a
company. I
whole
don't
week you couldn't talk, you didn't talk, you just sat there.
I was talking to the producers and stuff, but I was pretty much by myself most of the time. Yeah.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. All right, so the finale airs, you're done. You finally get your phone back. How many calls, texts, emails, notifications did you have? And also, you mentioned a little bit earlier, but how much did your social media following grow from the show?
It did grow like a lot from what I had. I had like 17,000 followers, 18,000 before I went on the show. And most of my followers now are Americans. And I used to have like all my followers were most Brazilians, and it's different, but
now you got to post captions in English.
It's so freaking hard because I'm still trying to figure out like if I'm gonna do my content in English or in Portuguese, and I'm like, I don't want to leave just the Portuguese on the side, you know. So I'm still trying to figure out like what's the best way to do it, especially because I like to make jokes, and like I like my jokes way better in Portuguese than in English. So when I try to translate, it doesn't really translate right. I'm like, dang it. But it's so hard. It is hard. I was talking to my friends about that last night. I was like, I'm trying to figure out what to do because all my jokes like doesn't really translate. And anyways, I'm still trying. It's gonna work out. But I didn't have a lot of emails and phone calls and stuff like that because I had like people helping me with that. They were like, my friends were, you know, looking at my phone, and they had access to every single thing that I couldn't see in the house. But every time that someone texts me, I'm like, oh my gosh, the guys that I was talking and stuff like that, when they comment my things on Instagram and I go look at the message, there was a lot of messages that they sent me that I didn't see it because someone opened, you know, and I'm like, oh, you exist. Hi. And I'm like, it's still being a challenge. Every single day, like someone comments something on me, like I'm like, and I go look for it, and they say a lot of good stuff, you know, why I was on the show and stuff like that. So
everybody's sliding in those DMs.
Yeah.
Listen, it comes with the territory. It happens with everybody.
It happens with everybody. It's the new Tinder, is the Instagram.
Indy, you're in Los Angeles or in California?
I'm in LA.
So how has life been for you since the show changed there? And do you remember the first time you were noticed in public for being on Big Brother?
Yes, thank God I was with the guys. So like the first week we stick together. That was me, Joseph, Monty, Turner, Taylor, and Jasmine, I believe. Yeah. And then we're always like going together to restaurants, to the mall and stuff like that. So when people were recognize us, like, you know, like in a group, as a group. And right now it's being like I was in Vegas on a table, like my friend's table, and then some girl like, oh my gosh, Indy. I'm like, oh God. I'm drunk as fuck. And I'm like, I don't want people to see me like that. She was like, can I take a picture? I'm like, sure. And I took a picture, and my friend was like, I think we should like stop drinking because if people keep like seeing you, they're gonna record and post on Twitter because Twitter is mean. So,
Terrible.
Like, whatever, I don't care.
Like I said, it comes with the territory.
Yes.
Get those creeps, the weirdos.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's bad. So we got the keyboard in the back, right? So you're gonna continue practice doing the keyboard, right? You're going back to Brazil, right? So you're gonna let us know how that is, and we're gonna follow you on Big Brother Brazil once that starts. But what else is for you in the future? You know, we, as Nick alluded to, like you get this huge following after you're on the show, and like people who most are good, right? Most are fans, but you have this big following now. So you're going to use that to your advantage. What do you have planned in the future? What would you like to do?
I am like really focused on sharing more stuff like about relationships, about dating, and the things that I used to do before, and energy work and manifestation. So I'm creating, actually my manager is coming very soon. So we are creating a brand of like for clothing and mugs. I don't know if you guys heard me on the show that I was always saying like God's my sugar daddy. So we are creating like God's my sugar daddy brand. And I have my manifestation course that I'm going to release that's like to teach people how to manifest their dreams and stuff like that. So I'm going to use all of that in my advantage, like with my following and on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube. And it's pretty much what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm open for new opportunities. I really want to go to another reality show or even like the soap operas that like I want to be an actress. So if I have the opportunity by CBS, they should take me because I may be the new Sofia Vergara. We never know.
I couldn't have said it better
I think
myself.
that'd be great.
I was going to say that. Damn it.
Indy,
I
what
wanted to...
if CBS was like, we want you to go on Survivor, what would you say? I feel like that would not be the show for you.
Survivor probably gonna die in 2 days.
Right.
But
I feel like you would do good on Survivor, The Amazing Race.
Amazing Race, yes, I'm excited. If I can go to the Amazing Race, it would be so amazing. Like Joseph, I always tell Taylor, like, Taylor, if you want to go with Michael, I can go with Pete. We're gonna be a mess. I always tell him we're gonna lose in the first week, but we're gonna have fun. I think Amazing Race and the challenge would be good, but Survivor is a lot.
I'd like to see you on the challenge.
Yes,
who
I
knows?
heard.
Maybe they bring you in on Love Island as the expert relationship match.
Yes, but I feel
matchmaker.
like Love Island's not CBS anymore. I'm not sure. There's
could be.
something going on, but I would go on Love Island as well. It's like, I don't know, a month, 30 days. I would go.
Nice vacation.
It's a vacation and like we hug guys, why not?
All right. And maybe they let you keep your maybe you could keep your bathing suit.
I was locked in a house for 100 days with guys like that were not hot. So
All right.
Yeah, they weren't hot this season, right?
So Indy, for you in your life or your career or anything with reality TV, what would you say is your I'm right moment? And I can describe this more later if you need more explanation. But what we basically mean by that for your I'm right moment is a time or place where you wanted to do something, you wanted to pursue something. You ask a friend or a family member for advice. They said, you know what, Indy, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. And you were like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And ultimately, you will see why it is that I'm right.
I got lost, but
all right. So basically, it's like like I told you so moment. Like, see, I was right, and you doubted me.
Yes, but that's how I live my life. Like I always like I don't really like ask people for opinions, like not even like small things. Like I never do, oh, should I wear this or that? Like I think I was born with this personality of like knowing what I want and knowing what I'm gonna do, and that's it. And like,
Nick, this is a terrible question to ask a South American woman, because South American women are born right. So they don't know the concept of the question. Whether you're Brazilian, whether you're Colombian, whether you're Venezuelan, he knows exactly what I'm saying, right?
Yes, it's like, I'm right, no matter what.
See, I speak her language. Okay, now the fun stuff. So I've been sitting on a lot of this information because between the both of us, I'm actually like the more spiritual one, right? So it's like I'm into like astrology and all those concepts and everything. And Nick loves when I bring it up. Like he can't get enough of it. He puts the questions on the rundowns now. So I have to ask everybody, right? So we've been going through the Big Brother guest cast, the people that we've had on, right, the last couple of episodes. So I've been asking this question. So we'll use this as a starting point. What is your zodiac sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Wow. That's interesting. Because Nick, before the show, was like, she's probably going to say she's a Pisces, right? Yeah. So you were right, Nick.
I don't know what that means, though, Joe.
Okay. So Pisces is one of the 3 water signs. They are the last sign of the zodiac. So in this weird way, Pisces are like kind of a blend of everybody else, right? They have like the characteristics of everybody else. Pisces are, again, water sign. So very naturally emotional. Very of all the signs, the water signs are always the more intuitively gifted, special telepathic abilities, psychic abilities, right? Pisces are very, very dreamy like people. And when I say dreamy, I mean sometimes borderline delusional. So she's laughing. Is that true?
Yeah, I have like, it depends a lot of on your map. So I have a lot of things in Aries. So it's
Ooh, I can give me your full birth chart. I can break it down for you. All right. So what is your moon sign? What is your moon sign?
My moon is in Aries. My rising is in Virgo, and
Virgo
my
rising.
Mars, my Mercury, my Venus, every single thing else is in Aries. So my communication, the way that I present myself, it's all in Aries. Always fire.
Yeah, I could see that. So Aries, Nick. Again, Nick always he loves listening to this stuff. I teach him stuff like this on the fly. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So it's a fire sign. So Aries, as opposed to a sign that's like Pisces and a water sign, fire signs are assertive, they're direct, right? Tend
Indy's
to be more
direct.
natural leaders. She's very direct, very,
Yeah.
very direct. So when it comes to your moon sign is what rules your internal side, right? So it's like the way you process stuff internally, your natural inclination to like emotionally react to things, right? So that kind of stuff is exhibited in the like a fire sign like Aries, right? So when it comes to your emotions, you're probably full steam ahead, right?
Yeah.
Because the Aries is a ram, right? So boom, head on.
Yes.
And you're a Virgo rising.
Yes, that's
Virgo,
why I'm
very
so
very nitpicky, right?
I'm like,
But Virgos are good. They're attention to detail type of people. Very meticulous, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, right? So anytime you have Virgo in your chart, like my moon is in Virgo, right? So I'm very, very nitpicky. I'm a very, very perfectionist type of person, right?
Mhm.
And that just naturally comes with the territory. And Virgo is an earth sign, right? So grounded, very feet on the floor type of people. But yeah, so Nick, I forget to tell you this too. You're more than what your sun sign is, right? So the day you're born is what people mostly, when they look to the zodiac signs and they look to their horoscopes and stuff like that. And I said this on a previous podcast, but sometimes the horoscope stuff, like what they have in the mainstream, it's not entirely true. They kind of like, throw people off with the way they write certain things. A lot of stuff is written in a very general way that it can be like appeal to like most people. So I think sometimes when you look to that, like when you're going to like a website or something just to read something basic, you're looking at a newspaper, it doesn't tell you the whole story. It kind of leads you in like the wrong direction a little bit. But this is stuff that I actually study and I actually read up on. So Nick loves when I ask it.
I love it.
Indy, we thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. You were a blast. You were so much fun to have on. We're gonna probably be in California within the next couple of months, and I'm probably gonna be there sooner than Nick. So when we spoke to Kylan the other day, I told Kylan if I come out there, I'm gonna reach out. We'll say hi.
Yes, I'm always hanging out with them, so it's gonna be great.
All right, so we'll reach out to you too. Can't wait to see you in person in California. Thank you.
Joe
Nick,
needs all that coaching in person about relationships.
I don't know if he's ready. Let's see.
Like I said,
follow me on Instagram and keep in touch because I'm like posting. I'm gonna start posting a lot of more like tips that I used to do before. So like I'm like just figuring out the way that I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna be out there. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let me know when you were here. Thank you, guys.
I guess that's considered last words and promotion, right, Nick?
Anything else you want to say, Andy? We usually give our guests the last words. Anything you want to promote or anything?
Just guys follow me on Instagram. My website's Indy Santos, and there's gonna be a brand, God's My Sugar Daddy, and an online course very soon. And on my Instagram, you guys gonna find lots of content about relationships, about a regular girl life because people used to like just fake on internet, and I like to be real. So it's gonna be like Indy, the health version of me, the silly version of me, the party version of me, and a big balance and a big mix. So pretty much that. Book Camels because I have bills to pay.
and the future Sofia Vergara. Can't forget that.
Sofia Vergara, please CBS, wake up. Oh my gosh. But that's that, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So nice to meet you guys, and I see you guys soon.
Sounds good. All right. So Joe will be meeting up with Indy in the future in California. So stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it here for this episode of You Know I'm Right for our very special guest, Indy Santos, for my co-host, Joe Calabrese. I am Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm Right.